So Tyson, our PowerPoint wonderkind, has taken these effectively off the pages of the book and set this up as would probably be best in a classroom. So, because ultimately if you're asking students to manipulate things and move them around, they really do need to physically do that. It's, that way they can clearly show to each other, well, I think this sentence comes first and then this one comes second, as opposed to 7 versus 2 versus 9. So that's why we've shown this chopped up like that with these lovely ripped pieces of paper. So pay attention to the titles, okay? This thing can be done in 2 steps. First, separate the sentence strips into the farmer versus the invitation. And then, what's the order? Type the numbers in the box. Okay, we've got an answer or 2 already here. Anybody else? Excellent.
She's saying excellent in response to to people having put down their answers, just so you know. It's a totally different feel just watching the presentation.
Yes,
you know?
I guess. Thank you for continuing to sensitize me to that, Tyson. Yes, we have a few answers that look pretty spot on. Let's see. I'm going to give you guys just another 5 seconds. See if you can do it. Okay, and now watch this. Okay, what's actually going to happen next is worth this entire presentation. Okay, and that is totally down to Tyson, who I continually am impressed with his PowerPoint wizardry skills. Are you ready?
I'm bowing right now. Just so
you have to be watching the screen right now. Have a look at this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Why isn't this?
Oh.
Why isn't this working, Tyson?
It did. It's just the.
Oh. It didn't do the fancy stuff?
It's webinar.
Oh, you guys should have seen it.
Go back and try it again.
Okay, ready?
Come on, webinar. Do it. Do it.
Hey!
It started to do it. Well, we're a little limited with the bandwidth availability on the video part of this webinar, so you didn't see the full animation, which is, your loss, really.
It was pretty cool, though. I was really impressed.
But,
and no worries, Callie. You're more than welcome to be joining us at this stage. No problem. Okay, so what do you think, though? I mean, what aims can be achieved by this type of activity? As I said before, I do think it's important to keep the number of strips of paper limited, because it can get a little crazy and just a little, there, as I said, there's, I think, an exhaustion and a frustration factor involved here if you have too many things.
Well, certainly one is context clues.
Yes.
Looking at the sentences, finding out words that give you some clue as to whether it's a farm or an invitation.
Exactly. So the nice thing about this one is it actually has that kind of gist task associated with it already, kind of skimming through, in general, what context do you think this goes with. Absolutely. I mean, another major thing I think here is the cohesion. It's very difficult for students to sensitize students to cohesion and organization. So picking up on lexical fields, lexical clues, identifying those linking words, identifying logical progression of ideas.
Right.
So it's a really nice way of doing it. And the nice thing is, I mean, the book provides really cute, funny, interesting context like this as well. And some of the sentences I thought were fantastic. I mean, I love that he said they ate what they could and what they couldn't, they could. As an interpretation of we eat what we can and what we can't eat, we can.
Right.
You know, so the play, I think it's really interesting, the comprehension not only at sentence level, but also at whole text level. Why does it hang together? Why is it appropriate? What's the overall meaning? Is it supposed to be a joke? Is it funny? Is it not funny? You know, all of these things I think are a really interesting way of investigating these types of sub-skills.
And even if you were a teacher in an academic environment, you know, like academic writing, this could be easily adapted for learning patterns of organization. You know, identifying how things are organized, order of importance, or chronological order, and so on.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So just mix up a couple of paragraphs together, and you've got yourself a task. You know?
Exactly. And that was the other thing I was mentioning before, that, you know, the book is great because it has ideas. So even if you think, well, the teaching context I'm in now, maybe it is more EAP or ESP or wherever you're at, but the ideas themselves make you think, that's a cool idea. I mean, I don't want to do it with this text, but, you know, with this one. And, you know, I take the point that there are actually only 9 sentences in total, not 20, you know, because the point is you can't make it too complicated where there's just so much involved and, you know, so many ifs, ands, and buts type of thing. Okay, so let's go on to our final activity. All right, and this one is from, as it says, the writing and speaking section of the book. And both Tyson and I have done this with students, and we both absolutely love it.
Love it.
And our students have absolutely loved it as well. Now, this is kind of one of the activities that highlights how the book pulls content from the world of pop psychology. I think it goes along the ideas of, you know, if there's anything that everybody loves talking about, it's themselves.
Very true. I love me.
All right, so have a look at this, and as it says in the intro, you need to read the story and then list the people according to their letters, from the person you like the most to the person you like the least. And as I said, I've done this many times with classes, and the discussions around the reasonings for your choices, justification of your choices, disagreement, which is quite funny because it is opinion-based, and yet some people, you know, take exception to, you know, why would you possibly dislike, you know, I, for example, the most, and persuasion of trying to get people to change their minds, come on board with you, that type of stuff. It really is the kind of activity that pulls you in, whether you want to be pulled in or not. You can't help yourself. Can you think of ways to extend this activity? Like, what would you do after? Is there anything, you know, anybody can type anything in the question box as well. So they've had the opportunity to read. And also, can I just add, this is a very interesting activity because it appears as though there may not be traditional, well, there are traditional comprehension-based questions. And yet, because the whole focus is on the post-reading discussion, there is actually extensive comprehension demand on the students because they have to justify their answers. They have to say why they like L the best and H the least and that type of thing. So there's some, you know, there's a lot of interesting processing going on, a lot of comprehension work going on. And obviously, I mean, you know, as I said before, the main focus of the book is speaking skills. And it, you know, it really taps into people's own personal perceptions of, you know, what they think is a good character, what isn't a good character. So, I mean, one extension I was thinking with this is trying to identify character types. So it would be very easy to tack on a little lexical section of the lesson. So, you know, what are these people like? How would you describe Elle? Could you describe her in a sentence or even in one adjective, you know, or a series of adjectives, something like that. They're all faceless as well, which I think is quite interesting. You know, so something else you could do is have, you know, like models or cut out from magazines or something. And, you know, who are these people? And then, you know, it's a very interesting discussion when you say, well, you know, what makes you choose, I don't know, Kate Moss? Or, I mean, there is only one woman, so I guess it's a little unfair. But all right, so why is Brad Pitt S, for example? And it, you know, it does actually uncover a lot of interesting kind of biases we have and stereotypes that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because it's also a bit adult in nature.